This is Angela Jordan. I am going to be doing my part of the presentation on learning progressions, Earth systems, kindergarten through second grade. Starting with kindergarten, we have the engineering and science standards of the Earth systems use and share observation of local weather conditions to describe patterns over time. And with that, we have the science and engineering practices of analyzing and interpreting data. And we have the disciplinary core ideas of weather and climate and cross cutting concepts of patterns. So, under this kindergarten standard, the students will incorporate those three discipline core ideas into activities and learn about the earth systems through those three disciplinary ideas. So the essential question for kindergarten is, how does the sun affect temperature? And the phenomena is, why is swimming better when the sun is out? So basically, they will be learning about how the sun affects the temperature outside. And they will observe and they will talk about, as a class or group, um, activities that require um, the sun to be out and for the sun to affect the temperatures when they're outside. So, activities that are related to that. So, the learning target is that the students will be able to observe local weather, record the Earth's patterns, and share their observation of the sun's patterns. And then they will share about what they know about the sun, and they will share about the experiences they enjoy outside when the sun is shining. Some of those activities that they will include the uh, the analyzing and the patterns, understanding the patterns. They will observe what the temperature feels like in the morning, and then they will observe what the temperature feels like in the afternoon after lunch. So they're going to create a pattern of how the sun affects the temperature outside in the morning and after lunch. And then they will record also how bright the sun is shining. We have an ELA connection a book, and we also have the technology and weather games. There's a uh, there's a climate and weather game that NASA has that really keeps the students engaged. And then a math connection would be to graph those patterns. The TPT uh, technique number the classroom technique that they would use is TPT number 13, picture notes. So students will draw pictures of what the sun looks like in the sky for a certain number of days. At the end of the lesson, they will draw big pictures of how the sun affects the temperature outside. So that's for kindergarten. And we have a couple of examples of children observing the sun and what the sun actually looks like in the sky. For first grade, the students will follow in the same vein. They will use observations of the sun, moon, and stars to describe patterns that can be predicted. So, once again, they're analyzing under the science engineering practices. They are the disciplinary core idea here is the universe and its stars, and the cross-cutting concepts again are patterns. Here, the essential question is, why is it important for us to know about the solar system and planets? And the phenomena is, how are the seasons related to the lengths of the day and night? And I'll have to sorry, that it's how the seasons are related to the change of the lengths of day and night. The performance expectation is for students to use observations of the sun, moon, and stars to describe patterns that can be predicted. So their learning target will be able, students will be able to observe the planets in the solar system in relation to the sun, and then they will be able to understand seasons and how it affects the changing length of days and nights. Um, Students will share about the patterns in the seasons and how it affects day and night, and they will also share their understanding of winter, summer, fall, and spring, and how that affects the lengths of day and night. And once again, the ELA connection is a book, and then the same climate weather through NASA is the technology weather game. And then the math connection here will also be graphing seasons. Activities, the students will watch a video. They will read and listen to a read aloud book on Earth and seasons, and then they will draw a model of the solar system and planets, and then present in their groups how these seasons affect the length of day and night. And here's some pictures of some models. And then for second grade, um, the standard is use information from several sources to provide evidence that Earth events can occur quickly or slowly. So here in second grade, students will understand how the events of Earth's events causes changes in the Earth. The science and engineering standard is constructing and explaining and designing solutions. And then the disciplinary core idea is the history of planet Earth. And then the cross cutting concept is stability and change. And that goes along with what their essential question is, which is what causes the Earth to change quickly and slowly? How does an Earth or how does an earthquake change the Earth or Earth landscapes? Their learning target is students will be able to understand how earthquake causes the Earth to change. And then they will also uh, be able to share about what are earthquakes and what does it do to the um, earth, and then they will share patterns of earthquakes over time, how that pattern has caused the earth to change. The ELA connection will be on uh, earthquakes. They will read a book involving earthquakes and volcanoes, and then their technology will be another game on the solar system, so science games. And the math connection will be um, understanding earthquakes and patterns and graphing those. The activities that they will do, students will watch a video on earthquakes. They will work in groups to see how the patterns of earthquakes have changed the earth over time, and then they will graph those patterns of the earth's changes after the earthquakes. The TPT classroom technique will be technique number 14. The 3 sentence wrap up. Students will summarize with their group um, the patterns of earthquakes and how the earth changes. In 3 sentences, they will work in their groups to refine those summaries. So that is the end of K through second grade on Earth systems.